I hate having multiple base locations, so in this video I quickly want to show you my base location, my ultimate one base location that I use to do everything in Palworld with. This location is pretty popular on the internet at the moment, but it's also the only location like it in Palworld at the moment, so let me show you why it's so good. So in this location you can see we have all the iron nodes that we need, plus we have about 6 coal nodes I believe. There's only 3 left because they're mining everything, all my Anubises. But it's a pretty decent location. I really enjoy it since you get all the metal and all the coal that you need to be able to craft any type of ingot that you want or need in Palworld. So let me quickly show you around, show you how I built it. But first, let's take a look at where this is located. This location is located almost in the middle of the map, just to the right of it. But basically you start here in the beginnings, you can move straight up and you should be able to find this base location. Right next to this boss on the right, here you can find it, pretty decent. If we go here on the side, you can see I just placed a bunch of my relaxation area for a little palace. No need for them to get like crazy hurt or anything. I feed them salad, so that's pretty decent. But if they need a little bit of motivation, there's plenty in this base for them. But I placed a lot of boxes around here just so that I can quickly pick up and drop them in. You can see every now and then there's a box placed so they don't have to travel too far, saving time and so forth. For the feeding trough, I just kind of placed it in the middle so that they can mine and quickly get everything. This is a little tip for the feeding trough. You can place your main food in here and just use cotton candy in each slot so they can only eat from the first slot and place nothing else in here so that they only place things in the refrigerator. Up here we have our little stone pit and of course our wood cutting station as well. You can see the stone pit is raised so that they don't farm it. Every now and then if I want to farm stone, I can just place this down and they will start running towards the stone pit and start farming it once they're done with their other activities. But for now, I want them to mine metal, so that's what they'll do for now. This is like a little on-off switch basically, if I want it. I'll also show you my pals, how I set it up so they can transport everything. A lot of them are just transporting things because there's so much coal and metal in the base. Obviously, we've got our little generator here, all decent. Little area up there I'll show in a minute. But for this to be a one base location, the only main base that I'm going to use, it does need to have breeding pens. And here is my first breeding pen. You can see I made use of the pal beds inside of the breeding pen so that I don't have to like build a separate area for it. This is all about saving space and being efficient with it, so I can basically breed with it. All that I need to do is throw the pal against this railing and it will basically register that it's breeding. So pretty decent. I really enjoy this method. Plus it saves a lot of space and it looks pretty decent when all the pals are sleeping in like a little pen instead of just out in the open. I have a second breeding pen as well. My egg incubator is set to 0, so I only need 1. Plus I have storage for all the eggs that I gather if I don't want to open them right away. If we go up here, I have another breeding pen. I have found that 2 breeding pens is plenty for me. I usually just breed 2 things at once, especially when I'm breeding like a super good pal. Then I'll usually just use 2 to breed down a legendary trait or any trait that I want. Now for the rest of the base, you can see I have put all my crop plots on the floor of the base just to save space, and it's pretty efficient since everything is close together. They can just quickly take everything and then run straight to the fridge and store it right in here. Of course we've got plenty of berries at the moment and so forth, and we've got a little pal cooling it as well, and the snowman on top. This one is busy refining the metals. I like the Ragnarhawk the most for this since it's so small it can fit in every place. It doesn't really get stuck, so I prefer this. I should like condense them into all the pals and then they should be a little bit faster. But it's a pretty new setup, So I'm still busy with everything. I'll show you my pals in a minute, my pal setup. But going back here, you can see I have all my belts, all my assembly lines. You can see I have the weapon one and so forth. Plus we've got our breeding pen. Well, is it? No, the farming pen, right? So all the eggs and the milk and so forth. And you can see they do pick it up every now and then. But it's going so fast. Like both of these are like labeled completely almost. So it's going a little bit too fast. But yeah, every now and then I'll just pick up what I can there. Moving up here, you can see we've got our grinders for the fragments and the flour. And we got our other assembly line here as well. Stay out because this is my private area, right? So we've got our saddle maker and our repair bench, which I basically should use. My gear is a little bit broken and so forth. Just a little decorated area that I try to make pretty cozy for myself. Not that I spend a lot of time here, but I do every now and then will sleep here just to get the night over, right? And obviously we've got a private bathroom. Sometimes you just want a piece of quiet and you go in there. There's a couple of secret areas in this base as well. If you want, take a look. For example, all the stairs has this secret area where you can go into. There's nothing here, just a couple of things stored here to hide the inconvenience of it. But at the back here is also another one that I like to use. For example, if I go in here, you can see here is all my boxes that I like to store things with. The only thing this base doesn't have though is sulfur, but it's pretty easy to get. Plus those crystals. Let me just see if they have some in the box. The only thing this base doesn't have is those crystals, right? Since the pure quartz, but you don't need them a lot. You only need them to build the assembly lines, I believe. That's about it. Eventually you don't need them in the game anymore, so you can just farm a bunch and you should be good to go. Where do I get all my sulfur if I need any? Well, there's actually a decent spot for sulfur. If you go all the way down to the volcano area, and if you fast travel right here, you can basically get a lot of sulfur. For my pal setup, basically what I like to do is have my little voxel here to cool. They can only do cooling. Then I have 3 Anubises and then 3 people that can harvest and plant, I believe, so they can take care of the crop plots. I like to have penking, 2 penkings, so that they can water and mine if they have nothing to do. And obviously our ore circ for the power. And then we've got our little chicken, our little cow, and our bee. And then Ragnarhawk for like melting the ores. And then a Hell Zephyr, since we have a lot of things laying around in this base that needs to be picked up. And Hell Zephyr is pretty decent at that. I do have 20 pals unlocked. The other 2 slots I use for breeding and I never fill them out since I don't really need more pals than this. So this is my basic setup. Just because, yeah, pretty easy to have them. I can see my Anubis is completely maxed out for now. If you want to see how I bred a super good Anubis for attacking, you can see here it is. Then you can watch this video right here, and I'll see you in my next video.